weeks ago with Steve Canola and Lalo Tachikine. I was a redhead, which is what I really am. Well, no, not really. I was not born a redhead, but I was born to be one. But I thought this way you'll think you have more people coming. I can do brunette next time. So thanks to dear Steve Canola and Lalo Tachikine. I'll get to the pretty lady in the middle a little later. It's so interesting. Lalo and his angels. You know about the kitty that's sleeping in the room over there? Anne, right? Will is the name of the kitty. Your name is Anne, right? Betty, that's what I said. But it's so funny because look what Linda gave me today. I work hard so my cat can have a better life. So, will that stay there? Yes, it will. Because at my house, the kids are all gone, right? Well, they come back. But the kids and the grandkids aren't there. But Sunny Cool Cat rules the house. And we'll get to the Proverbs thing. But I got to tell you a great story about Sunny Cool Cat because those folks know him so well. I live on the last old 3-acre parcel of a Spanish colonial in Palm Springs. It's precious. It's a very spiritual place. It's a lot like Stephen Lalo's home. And it was owned by Earl Neal, who actually landscaped all of Palm Springs, all those palm trees down Palm Canyon. Earl Neal, who owned Palapa's Neal's Nursery. Say that fast. Neal's Nursery. Maybe some of you remember that. But anyway, Sunny Cool Cat lives on the roofs of my home. There's coyotes and bobcats and everything lives there, but he's smart. And the way we got him, he's a rescue kitty like Willa. And my youngest son, Tyler, who's 34, is really close to Sonny Bono's son, Cesare. Not Sonny Bono's son, Chastity, who became Chaz. Stay with me now. Not that one, but Cesare, because Cesare and Chiana were Sonny's children with Mary Bono, who was our, I'm exhausted, who was our representative, right? Okay. Tyler said, Mom, we need to get you another cat. Our cat was 17 years had died. So he took me over to the Animal Samaritans, and it was the 25th of April, which is Cesare's birthday. It all works together, doesn't it? Like, I would never have thought of this. It's your fault because the cat's here. And Tyler went in, and I sat out in the lobby because I would take all the cats. I would take them all home. Don't say anything about a cat house, Steve. So Tyler comes out in a few minutes and he said, Mom, I found the most wonderful cat, but it's a boy. And I said, oh, you know, we've always had girl kitties. I don't know, a boy cat, Mama, blah, blah, blah. And he said, but Mom, the cat's name is Sunny. Remember whose birthday it was? So needless to say, Sunny Cool Cat. Because Sonny Bono was a real cool cat. Isn't that, those things mean something to me. Do you like it when everything comes together like that? Yeah. Oh, thank you. And Linda and her sign for me, and then she dressed to match my bedroom because my bedroom's all in the cat prints, right? I mean, we could go on like this for days, can't we? She gave me something that is a kitty cat dressed in the tiger prints, and it's called Catarella instead of Cinderella. Isn't that fun? Okay, to the 31st proverb. I'm the 7th generation descendant from a Methodist minister on my mother's side, and the 5th generation from a Methodist minister on my daddy's side. I married a Jewish man whose name escapes me. in a Mormon town. We got married, and now I'm here with you. I just want to get there. I love religion and faith It's a hobby. We talk about it on my show all the time. And it's wonderful. I hope I don't break any rules here. Steve has a lot of rules. Do you know Steve Canals? Yeah. Steve is going to take me, and usually he brings me back. He took me, we'll get to the 31st problem. I'm watching my time. Steve took me and about 60 of my listeners for my 60th birthday or 65th birthday to the Mediterranean. Then he took me with, I think, 33 of my listeners up and down the Nile, into Nile. Oh gosh, he brought me back. We went to China one year with a whole bunch of my listeners. He just has the most wonderful trips, but if you want to uphold me a little bit, I'm hoping I get to go to Dubai with him. Wait, let me tell you, so you can really uphold me. Let's see. It's March, dazzling Dubai, Oman, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi. 1995. It cost me more to stay home. Isn't that fun? Do you know Lalo Tachikin?
Yes.
Yes, okay. You want a Lalo story?
Yeah.
Okay. So before I ever met Lalo, maybe 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I was going up to Casa del Monte for a reading. And I don't know if Lalo had met me or Steve had told him all the lies about me. But when I got up there, Lalo had written me a letter. I still have it in my scrapbook. And it said many things that were right on the money. But the thing that was amazing was that Lalo knew my granny's nickname for me, that my children don't know. So fast forward a few years, I said to Trevor's 56, was a fighter pilot out of the Air Force Academy. Now he's a jet pilot for United. I carried him 9 months, now he can carry me, right? It works. I said to Trevor, do you know my granny's nickname for me? No, and I don't think he was particularly interested in learning it. My daughter is 54, she doesn't know it, and the 34-year-old baby, no. Go on, Mom. Lalo knew. I'll tell it to you now. It's Joe Duty. See why my children don't want to know? Okay, the 31st problem. I skip the first 9 or 10 things, but I start with, who can find a virtuous woman for her price is far above rubies? And I've always read it. I read it almost every day. I read the Bible every day. But I liked it that there was jewelry involved. And Lalo brought me this ring. Isn't that pretty? Where'd you get me that, Lalo? Somewhere in Italy, where there's chocolate. And on my radio show, we wear red. Where is she? Karen. She's all in red for me today. Yay! And remember the kitty thing? What does the back say?
It says Jesus and his kittens.
Jesus and his kittens. Get it? Da, 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 da. Thank you for doing that. On my show, we wear it and we eat chocolate. So Lalo brought me this. Isn't that fun? Okay, so who can find a this is, you know the story, it's the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother had taught him, and he wrote this to his son, who was supposedly getting married. There are many things I do well. Picking a man is not one of them. I play 5 or 6 musical instruments. I've been blessed to open and be an opening act for George Burns and Bob Hope and Milton Berle and Rodney Dangerfield. Thank you so much. I do not pick men well. So when my sons, who are both, adults, I'd say, well, that girl may not be exactly what God had in mind for you right now. Isn't that nice? That's a nice way to say it. I don't think that's the girl God had in mind for you right now, but she's not long term, but she's fine for now. And Trevor would say, you're not going to give me advice about romance, are you, Mother? I'd say, oh, I guess not. They're smart, Alex, my kids. You know what? I stuck to this 31st proverb all the years of raising them, and by the time they found out I really was afraid of everything, they were fearless. Trevor went to the Air Force Academy, flew an F-15, 11 tours over Bosnia and Iraq. My daughter, Tammy, was an officer in the Marine Corps. She's had some challenges, but I always thought for a woman to do that, that was pretty brave. And then Tyler had the New Mexico Military Institute, which is an Army experience. Both my sons went there. I thought they should have had a bench for me or something. Joey English Schaefer, mother of 2 sons, 22 years apart, at New Mexico Military Institute. Don't you like that? Don't you? Yeah, let's uphold that. So, who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies? Here's one that was kind of tough for me. Then it says, the heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. Now, you know I didn't get that one right. But what it meant was, as marriages went on, and Linda's a wonderful example of that, she got 2 wonderful husbands. I didn't get any. Her first husband was a world-famous plastic surgeon, and he drowned. It was very tragic. Then she married Fred the Hammer Williamson, who's got a gorgeous Super Bowl ring and has made 80 or 90 movies. Okay, so we can skip that one. And my kids always kid me because I love the King James version of the Bible. She looketh dwelleth to the weigheth of her householdeth, all the thus. I like that. Okay, what's next? Oh, it's still the husband. She will do him good and not evil all the days of his life. Check. She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands. Now, do any of you sew? Does anybody still sew? No? Yes, good. I make clothes for my children. My grandmother tatted. Do you know what that is? Tatting? I have all her things. I had a home in Montana that I miss with all my heart, but I have all stored up things of this earth. I don't do that one so well, but it's not in the 31st proverb to not store up things. But I have all Granny's things. Sorry. And I have all of the pillowcases she embroidered, and she crocheted and tatted and all those wonderful things. So that's, even men do that. I mean, Rosie Greer, a big rough tough football player, he crocheted. See? Okay, what's next? She is like the merchant's ship. She bringeth her food from afar. I can't afford food anymore, so we'll just check that one off. I like this one, 15. She riseth also while it is yet night. Now, my radio show is on for the first time at 5 in the morning. So I'm up at 4:30 just to make sure it goes on right. And at the end of my radio shows, at almost 6 o'clock and almost 1 p.m., we play my recordings. And that makes me happy, because I've got some sort of a tear, and don't think of Joan Rivers, bless her heart, with her voice, but think of, who was in, Julie Andrews. She has lost things, so it happens. But my children said, you mean there's a chance you're going to lose your voice? But I don't sing much anymore, so it makes me happy that I have those recordings with 40-piece orchestras and great charts, and that's a little too much about me, right? The Joey factor. Where are we? She riseth while it's night, and giveth meat to her household. So, and a portion to her handmaidens. She had handmaidens. So if you have someone in your house that says, you don't need servants, oh yes you do, it says so right here. She considereth a field and buyeth. With the fruit of her hands she planted a vineyard. Now, don't laugh. I grow my own tomatoes. Anybody grow things? No? Well, we can skip them. Do you? Okay. She girdeth her loins with strength, and strengtheneth her arms. We all know what that means. Strength is usually knowledge of Christian things and eternal Judeo-Christian things and eternal verities. I find the only time I go wrong in my life is when I go against the natural order of things. One of those. Do you find that? Then the God or goddess says, and it comes back every time. What's that saying? Payback is, you know, it really does come around pretty quickly. Have you found that? So, she perceiveth that her merchandise is good, her candle goeth not out by night. When my kids were growing up, because I usually was singing at night, I'd make them dinner, put them to bed, and then I'd go, thank you, God. Oh, speaking of God, George Burns. Sorry. That went too far, didn't it? Those God movies, I was going for, it says, wait for laugh. But I'd stay up, I'd either go out and sing, and then I came home, you know, late at night, and I got up with my babies. And many times they were with me on the road. It explains a lot about what's wrong with them. She layeth her hand to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. That's more about working. She stretcheth out her hand to the poor. You folks do that so well. You're such a lovely example. She reaches forth her hands to the needy. Now, on my show, we have a charity segment that's on every month. So Steve and Lala will tell you if there's ever anything you want to put out to my thousands of Joey pals, I call my listeners. There was a movie called Pal Joey, and in it, you like those signs? Frank Sinatra is in love with Kim Novak, and her name in the movie is Miss English. So there's a line in the movie where Frank Sinatra says, I love you, Miss English. We're going to play that on my show. Because everybody will know it's Frank's voice, right? Okay. She's not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. And that means, again, the Judeo-Christian ethics that you folks are so wonderful about sharing. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. That's the royal color, isn't it purple? We can skip this one. Her husband is known in the gates. Okay. Oh, I like this. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in the time to come. Now, the minister who taught me the most about this said to me, rejoice in the time to come meant aging. Oh, I can't even say that word. Stephen, Lalo, and Linda. Sounds like a dance team. Steve and Lalo and Linda will tell you that I don't care about aging. I'll be 77, November 17th. Thank you. Something in a size 12 now. No, red will do. Chocolate is always nice. But that has never bothered me. I'd rather be happy and be having fun at 77 than tell everybody I'm going to be 67 and not look so good. So, time to come, that's what I interpret that to mean. Oh, here's my big failure. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. Ouch. That's a tough one. And the Bible even says that what's in your heart is on your tongue. Oh my. Everybody knows how tough that can be. Have you noticed that people are less kind lately? They really say hurtful things. Or am I living in a bubble? I just think we're not as kind to each other as we should be. Open your mouth with wisdom and kindness. Oh, she looketh well to the ways of her household. I like that one. Those three will tell you I love looking well to the way of my household. I was on the road one time with George Burns. Usually the kids went with me, but they didn't this time. And Trevor and Tammy were maybe 6 and 8. And I called home and Trevor says, I named my kids Trevor, Tammy, Tyler, so forgive me. And one of my grandsons is Trent. Oh. Trevor said to me, Mommy, you've got to fire this housekeeper. She put the cereal box back on the wrong shelf. And I knew I'd gone too far. But they are alphabetized. Have you been to Stephen Lalo's and seen Lalo's Christmas decorations? Okay. She looketh well to the ways of her household. I love that. And eateth not the bread of idleness. Well, I don't eat carbs, so I don't eat bread at all. But I have a problem lately, if you want to uphold me. I'm walking by things that need to be done and just walking by them. I don't know if it was because of the heat of the summer, but I'm always trying to do better by this. Isn't this who came up with this? Some man, it was some man. Okay, my time is up. So I will close by saying, her children arise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. Well, we can use part of that. My children, it's good to have 3 because then one of them's always talking to you. Many daughters have done virtuously, blah, blah. Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. And this is the best. Give her the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. Thank you.
Let's give Joy one more hand. Thank you.